Adam, at this stage, do we know whether Luke Shuey will travel?
Yeah, he'll travel. Yeah, we think he's going to be okay. So just got a bit of a sore toe. So he'll hopefully train tomorrow and we'll tick it off.
And Brad Shepherd?
Yeah, he's fine. He trained. Yeah, he's trained a week.
Is the turf toe for sure? Is that something?
No, I don't know. It's just yeah. No, I don't want to go into specifics, but I think he's fine. I think he's going to be okay.
You've been given permission to train on the MCG, first time since 2015. Significant for what you can do, or is it just a familiarisation?
Oh, we ask a lot if we can do that, so to get that opportunity is great. The timing's got to be right. We understand there's games on there and they've got to prepare the ground, but you know, like I said last week, teams that come over here get to train at Optus Stadium, so the request was granted this week, so we do appreciate that, but it's not like it's a special gift. It's probably what we should be getting.
Yeah, so have you been told whether it will open the door more often this year? I know they've said because of the deal and 2057 and all this stuff, but have you felt like they've said yes when you come over for games in Melbourne, or is it just MCG games?
Oh, I'm not sure. Look, it's difficult to find a ground to train at in Melbourne, so we quite often have to go to different areas or not train at all. So to get a ground like the MCG, we'll take that. You know, if we're at Etihad, once again, it's difficult to get on there as well. So it's good for our players to get familiar with the environment and surrounds, even if it's just a walk through. So we put that request in a fair bit, and we're really pleased we've got it this week.
Is it, even with something like Etihad, which is obviously a delicate surface, given the nature of the training run you would be having a day out from a game, is there any reason why really you shouldn't be allowed to train there, do you think?
Well, you're asking the wrong person. Yeah, I wouldn't have thought there's too many reasons, but having said that, there are games there. So quite often we travel and our captain's runs on a Saturday and there's a game on. So it's just pleasing we got it this week, and we're not overplaying it. It's just part of our prep that we try and get, and yeah, we'll take it.
Do you feel better equipped to play on a wider ground now that you've had a few games at Optus, which is a wider ground?
Yeah, look, I haven't spoken at all about a wider ground with our players. Obviously, it's a different environment with open spaces, the MCG, but we've got other focuses that we need to get right. And I've said this for a long time: the width and the length of the ground, albeit it's different, it shouldn't really matter about your intent and your contest, and that's what we're really focusing on this week.
How have you managed complacency going into this game against Carlton, who are struggling a bit?
We've got no reason to be complacent. Yeah, we haven't proven anything yet, so we're still working our own brand and style. And what's been really exciting for us this year with our youth coming through, although we're losing one or two every week, and a different profile and different environment really with our stadium and our training base we're working on. So that's all hasn't come together quite just yet. So we're still working through our platform of success. We've started pretty well, but there's no conversations about being complacent.
I suspect you don't want to talk about, and I know you will say that you don't want to talk about player contracts and wax lyrical about them through the year. Let's talk about McGovern, if I can. I read with interest that he's Fremantle and his name's been mentioned and it's looking that way. How do you as a football club and as a coach cope with that, with the player and his manager, knowing that it is going to get brought up nearly every time he plays?
You suspected the right call. I'm not interested in talking about that. You know, he's one of our players. We love him. We want to keep him, and we're doing everything we can. So
how much truth is in those type of stories?
Oh, I'm not even going to give it any oxygen. Sorry.
Do you have to brace yourself for a Carlton reaction, Adam? You know, you often get one after 1, 2 or 3 bad performances. They've had at least a couple back to back.
Yeah, the mindset of clubs is, you know, every club's different, but every club's the same in the same sense, because, you know, when you're hit with a bit of adversity, you do look to respond on the track and on field, and I've got no doubt we're in for a bit of a battle this week. I think even last year, the Blues might have got robbed by a fair margin and come out and beat Sydney the next week. So as much as we're preparing about ourselves, we're preparing for Carlton at their best. Home ground, you know, backs against the wall type of stuff. So that's why I spoke about the contest and the intent and those type of things. That's what we're working on, some consistency. We haven't put together good 4 quarters of that yet, and if we can do that, we're every chance of having a win. If we don't do that, game will be up for grabs.
Just in terms of JK, he's on track to break Zimmer's record this week. Can you speak a bit about him and something like that?
Well, he's just turned into such a pro, JK. Yeah, it's been a pleasure to coach him over the journey. Our journey together, we're going into our 5th year, and you know he was already a professional when I got here, but he took it to another level with his leadership and his preparation on opponents and how to break down the game and what he likes as a forward and what we need to do as a team is often debated. And I'm not surprised at all. He's a consistent A-grade full forward.
Would you like any new players this week, or do you go with someone more tried?
Yeah, we're thinking about it. Yeah, we've got obviously the team we released this afternoon, but there's a couple of kids coming through. We just haven't had the continuity at East Perth yet. They had a bye on the weekend, and we had a really disappointing game round 1. So, there's always a couple of spots up for grabs through injuries and performance. So that's something we're looking at, and not dismissing the other guys who've been around a little while and have earned their spot as well. So we'll get to that this afternoon, but I would have thought in the next few weeks, we'd like to get another 1 or 2 kids through if we could.
You go like for like, losing Venables obviously pace gives you a fair bit up forward. Do you try and bring someone a bit of speed into the side? Or?
Yeah, there's not a heap left, to be honest, with losing Ryan and young Venables as well. So the half forward that can pinch in on ball was a really specific role that Venables is working towards. So we've tried that a little bit with Rioli. We've got Hutchings, who's done nothing wrong this year, and he's just unfortunately been squeezed out of the side. Got some kids at East Perth, Petruccelli and Carpeny and Partington, all these guys. So we're working through that today.
Scott Lycett, I don't know if it's just me, it looks like he's changed his body shape. He looks a bit trimmer. Looks like he's moving quicker. It might not be, it might just be an observation. But has he changed as a ruckman rather than just does he have to be more mobile, and has he been in the games he's played?
Yeah, he's working towards full match fitness. He missed a good season last year. I think he played 1 game. So we all obviously missed Nick, but I think we missed Scott as well, and they're a bit of a tag team, those two. So both of them are working towards full match fitness. His body composition probably hasn't changed too much. I think we just probably forgot how versatile he was back in the day. And he knows he needs to impact up forward as well. Both Nick and Scott do. Not many teams play 2 ruckmen anymore. So the way we do it, we know that they're quality players, but they've got to have an impact forward to centre as well. So no, he's still working towards full match fitness, but he's not far off.
How important is he to your planning over the next couple of years?
Scott, he's critical. Yeah, they're all important. And even with the ruckman we're seeing at the moment across the competition and what kind of impact they can have at their best, Scott's still working towards what his best looks like, and it's mainly due to injury. He hasn't probably put together a full season injury-free, so when you see that, I think you see a pretty good player.
You haven't blamed Optus Stadium personally. You've said that you would like to make sure it doesn't get too hard so you can blame it or people can blame it. They've said it's inside the AFL guideline, softer side of the normal. Do you agree with that, and do you want to let it go, or are you constantly going to be in conversation with them? Trevor Nisbet was the other day.
Yeah, I don't think we'll let it go, because in the end our safety of our players is our number 1 priority with the environment in which they play at. So I'm just aware of a couple of things with our playing group and the teams that play here, how they're pulling up. Like I said the other day, it's not to say that it's Optus Stadium's fault, but we're pulling up a little bit sooner than we normally do. So we're just investigating why, and we let them know that that's happening. So I'm sure they'll work through it. We want a really good relationship with the stadium. It's our home ground, so we're doing everything we can to make that work. And making them aware I don't see it as a big issue. They'll work through it, and I'm sure they'll try and get it better.
Have you changed the recovery process because of it?
No, not really recovery process, but we got a 6-day break last week, and you're always a bit sore after that. So just keeping an eye on things. We wouldn't be doing our job if we weren't going into bat for our players.
Would you change where you train a bit, Adam? Like you've trained there a fair bit to familiarise yourself. Would you maybe steer clear of it a little bit to try and keep the players away from it?
Our players love training there. We love training there as well. It's nothing better than, especially in a home game, that we get to train there on a Thursday. So the balance between that connectivity and looking after our players is important. So if we have to pull that back a bit, we will. We'd rather not, though.
There's a suggestion that Matthew Carrizo is a little bit sore. Are you expecting him to play? And that ruck battle, does that become more important on a big ground like the G to win that sort of clearance battle on the territory side of things?
I'm expecting him to play. We're planning for him to play. The ruck battle is interesting now. I think probably, in disrespect to the ruckman that we've faced in the last 4 weeks. So I think this is probably the biggest challenge for Nick and Scott, and they're looking forward to it. I think Scott's rucked against Cruz before, so yeah, that'll be a very important battle for both sides, and yeah, we're pretty clear on how important that is.
How have you viewed the connection with the midfielders? Do you think it's improving over the last couple?
Yeah, it's getting better. It's a little bit frustrating to get some dominance like we have with our hit-outs. Such a contrast with last year. We really struggled to compete as much as Drew was trying, and Vards, they weren't legitimate ruckmen. So this is a good problem for us to have. We haven't quite mastered it yet, but we're working. This is what I said before. We're still working towards what looks good for us. If we get good supply with our ruck hits, turning that into clearances, field position, and scores is the next step. And we're going okay, but I reckon we can get better.
Where's Vardy at?
I think he's back this week, maybe next week. Yep. So he trained. He's been training fully. Now it's just getting match fitness up.
Will Oscar Allen play this week and Archie?
I think so. Yeah. Some good news on the injury front with those two. I think they're back this week, and Vardy possibly next week.
Yeah. Will you bring Vardy back as a ruckman or a forward?
I think all of our guys need to play forward ruck to complement obviously Nick and what he's doing, and his game minutes always needs a backup, and that's the way we set up. So when Vards is available and he's fighting for spots with probably not Nick, but with Scott and Fraser McGuinness as well, and that's the area they need to perform in.
And what role would Oscar Allen play? Does he play as your power forward or your second or third forward?
Yeah, we work. I mean, he hasn't played a game yet at waffle level, so he's got the ability, along with Brander, to go both ends. So we think we've stockpiled some really good tools there for the future, and the ability to go both ends is an asset for both of them. So we'd probably start him down back at waffle level.
How long does it take to groom an AFL power forward or defender now?
Well, that's a good question. You got to give it a little bit more time, but quite often it's their body composition that's got to get right. But, both of these boys have got pretty good intensity and good skills. So see how we go. That combined with opportunity with our tools and our availability, we've got some pretty good tools at the moment. So but they're in a rush.
Just one back on Josh. If you had to compare Josh to other players taking important kicks at goal, how does he compare as a money man, the guy whose hand you want the ball in?
Yeah. Oh, it's been a journey, hasn't it? His goal kicking, I think. I think my first year was just working on a different kicking routine, and I think as much as a little bit unorthodox, it was still pretty accurate. But he's a clutch player. That's on the back of his prep and his leadership. So yeah, look, he's right up there with the best in the comp in terms of kicking those very important goals. I even think back to the final series in 2015 against North Melbourne. I think with 20 points down in the first quarter, he's kicked a magnificent goal, and last year in the final against Port as well. So I think that's what he lives for.